Hello, so I've been asked to factorise fully 20x squared minus 5. So remember what factorise means? It means put the brackets back in. So let's have a look at this. I'm going to deal with the numbers first. So I'm looking for factors of the 20 and the 5, which are common. So I'm actually going to start with the 5 because 5 is just prime. So 5 is just 5 times 1. Okay, so that immediately narrows my options down for factors of 20 because I'm looking for factors of 20 with a 5 in. 5 times 4. 5 times 4 is 20, right? So I can just replace this 20 with 5 times 4. Okay, now I'm going to put the brackets in preparation for my factorisation move. And I'm going to take this 5 times, and I'm going to stick it out the front. And I'm going to take this 5 times as well, and I'm going to stick that out the front with that one. So I'm going to combine those two things together. So I've got 5 times. I'm going to get rid of that times because it looks a little bit like an x. So I've got 5 lots of 4x squared minus 1. Great, I'm finished, aren't I? No, absolutely not. I've still got another step to do. So when you're faced with a problem like this, because, I mean, you look at that and you think, well, there's surely nothing else which is common that I can take out. No, there isn't. But what I've got left in there is a quadratic. But it's a special type of quadratic. Because if you look, this 1 is just really 1 squared, right? And this 4x squared, well, if it was just x squared, that's a square number by definition. But 4 is also a square number. So you're happy that I can just change this to 2x squared, because 4x squared, right, if I expand out 2x all squared, that's just the same as 2x times 2x. So 2 times 2 is 4, and x times x is x squared. So I've got 4x squared back. Okay, so this thing inside of brackets is a, you know, this thing there, the 2x is a square number, because when I square it, it becomes a square number, right? And this 1 squared is also a square number. So remember what I do. I've got a subtract in the middle, so that's a difference. It's difference of 2 squares, right? Now, if you can't remember what difference of 2 squares is, let's take, for example, something like x plus 4 and x minus 4, all right? And let's expand this out. So I end up with x times x, which is x squared, so x squared there. Then I've got x times minus 4, so that's minus 4x. And then I've got a plus 4 times x, that's a plus 4x. And then I've got a minus 4 times a plus 4, so that becomes a negative 16, okay? So look what happens in the middle. There's a cancellation which occurs. This minus 4x cancels with this positive 4x. So all I'm left with then is just an x squared minus 16, okay? So let's look at the pattern. So this square number here I've got, and I've got a square number here if I just rewrite this as 4 squared. And I've got a subtract in the middle. So I've got a subtract in the middle. So that just means difference, right? So when I have a difference of 2 square numbers, then all I do, the pattern is, I take the square root of this first number and I stick one of them there and one of them there. All right, so the square root of x squared is just x, okay? Then I take the square root of this second number. So the square root of 16 is just 4, okay? So I stick 1 4 there, 1 4 there. Okay, in one of the brackets, I stick a plus, and the other bracket, I stick a minus. That just causes that cancellation term in the middle to happen. Okay, so now let's bring that back to here. So I've got 2x squared minus 1. So my first square number is 2x. So one of my 2x's goes at the beginning, so 2x in the first position of each bracket. Okay, and then my second square number is 1 squared. It's just 1 squared. So it's I take the square root of that, so 1 goes there, 1 goes there, stick a positive there, a negative there, and I've still got 5 at the end. So now that is finished. That is finished.